for the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series. We all know back at the end of 2022, Lucas Oil announced their inaugural chase for the championship that would conclude at the Dirt Track World Championship, which is now at Eldora Speedway, the third weekend of October. In the last event before the DTWC, the series said, hey, we're going to take the top 4 in points. We're going to wipe the slate clean, hit it into the Big E, and we're going to say, all right, only you 4 can win the championship. Whoever finishes highest of those 4 drivers will be the 2023 Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series champion. A championship that now pays, by the way, $200,000 to win, $150,000 for second, $125,000 for third, and $100,000 for fourth. And remember, just a few years ago, this thing paid $75,000 to win. So, as I said to Devin Moran, we've arrived at that point now. All this talk, we've now arrived at that point where we're going to determine, headed into the Dirt Track World Championship, who are those 4 drivers, and that determination will be made this weekend at Raceway 7 in the Pittsburgher 100 at PPMS. Kane, throw up those Lucas Oil points because I want to show them to the folks at home. RTJ in first very comfortably, and this thing would be over if we didn't have the chase format. Hudson O'Neal in second. Third on back is JD. And this is where it gets interesting, really. Third, fourth, and who's tied for fifth? Brandon Overton got better second half of the season. He's in fourth. Devin Moran and Tim McCready tied for fifth. Really, just 3, 4, 5, 6 there. The guys tied for fifth. Those are really the guys vying for that final spot. I wanted to keep Kevin on to talk about this. I'm not sure this got enough attention that is deserved all year, this chase. But I think now, Kevin, as we head into the weekend, before the weekend, the entire country is going to be locked into what's going on with Lucas Oil. How do you handicap this? How do you see this playing out? I just wanted to talk Lucas Oil with you as we head in to the weekend before the weekend.
Yeah, well, pretty much seems like 3 of them are pretty firmed up. I mean, John, obviously Thornton and O'Neal, they'll be in there. And Davenport, I mean, it would really take, I mean, he's going to really have to have a disastrous 2 races at Raceway 7 in Pittsburgh to not make it. So it goes to those Overton, Moran, and McCready. And looking through that, I mean, Overton, he's never run the Pittsburgher. I don't even think he's ever been there. I mean, if he doesn't run the Pittsburgher, there's no other race.
When else?
Right.
You
know, I mean, and I looked at, he has not run the Pittsburgher, and where would he have ever run Raceway 7 either? They barely have any super late model races. So he has probably, I mean, he's the guy 4th right now, but he's going to have to adapt the quickest of any of those 3. And Tim McCready, he has some momentum going now. He brought this new car out the past week. Seems like he's gotten go. 3rd place finish tonight. That was his first podium in a full field feature since the preliminary at Batesville for the Topless more than a month ago. You know, when he had I think he had a second there in that first. I mean, they only had, remember, they didn't have split fields there at Batesville. They just had 1 race. And he's run the Pittsburgher 8 times. He always seems like he's in the top 10. He's started 8 times since 2004. Never finished worse, only finished worse than 10th once, and that was back in 2004 when he was a rookie with the late model. And Devin Moran, he's run it 4 times, 15, 19, 20, and 21, and every year he's gotten better. I mean, he's run 22nd, 21st, 9th, and 6th. He started on the pole in 2020 and led 62 laps. So, I mean, those 2, if you're going to look at it, those 2 might have a little bit of an advantage over Overton. He's going to have to learn a little and get going pretty quick.
Swap real quick, because I know you got a couple things for Kevin, too. To me, I said this to Devin. I think the attention for this is going to be like a heart monitor that goes woof. I think the national late model attention, because things get a little quiet in the fall between the World and the dirt track. I might be overestimating it. I'm not just saying this because it's on Flow. I think the next couple of weeks are going to be nuts for this thing. Am I right about that, you think? Good or bad for Lucas, because I think a lot of people won't like it. I love it. I think a lot of people won't. It's just going to be bananas attention, I think.
Yeah, I say that. Yeah, definitely. That's good. That's what it's done for, to get people talking. You would just be talking about one thing, the dirt track going to Eldora, if it was just the old way, because Ricky Thornton, I mean, again, unless he would have had a horrible weekend here, it would be impossible to beat him. So now you have this to talk about. I know a lot of people will talk about how bad it'll be if Ricky Thornton Jr. doesn't win the championship after having the most incredible year you could have on a national tour. So that, I mean, that's going to be a bummer if he doesn't, but hey, that's the way it is. And they put up 6 figures for all 4 guys that are going to be in it. I mean, you got to think about that too. even if you're fourth, you get 100,000.
Yeah, 100,000 would be a nice payday. Ricky Thornton Jr., Hudson O'Neal, their mindset's obviously like, okay, let's just get dialed in for the world or for the Dirt Track World Championship. But if you're T-Mac, if you're Brandon Overton or Devin Moran, and if you get into that Final Four spot, your eyes just have to be lighting up saying, like, we could walk away with potentially $300,000. And that's when you can just hear it in Devin's voice, like, if we get in the Final Four, we got a second chance. We can make some good money and win a championship.
No, yeah, it's like new life,
Right.
I know Devin was talking about how, Kansas City, they weren't the best team in the NFL last year, and the Philadelphia Eagles were, and then they win the championship. I mean, I don't personally look at it that way, because I feel like, like an NFL team doesn't play every single team in the league all year long, but in racing, you race every person that you're racing against on a series every race, So I look at it a little bit different like that, to throw a playoff thing in. But it's for to talk. It's for to get people talking and to have more excitement in the last race, and it's definitely going to do that.
And then you got the smooth, silky, calm and collective guy like Jonathan Davenport.
Just sitting there,
Made
right?
this late summer surgeons to get. He's pretty comfortable. He still's got to take care of business. He's going to Eldora. He's pretty good there too, Kovac, isn't he?
And Swab, but just to catapult on that, Kevin, I don't even think JD wanted to run the points other than this moment, right? This is the only reason he's doing it.
Listen to one lap one beer at Knoxville. He's like, the only reason we're doing this is because we knew that the Dirt Track World Championship was at Eldora. We just need to get into the top 4 to be at Eldora. And here he is.
And Brandon Overton's the same way.
True.
I mean, Brandon Overton's not doing the Lucas Oil Series. He's questioned why he was out there a lot of times this year, because he when he struggles and he wants to go back, and he'd rather be home and to kind of bring himself out of a little bit of a slump. But he had to stay out there and keep racing. So both of those guys, if they're in the top 4, I mean, they go into the Dirt Track World Championship and they just light up their eyes at Eldora. Overton wasn't as great at the World 100 this year, but I'm like, I believe he can get that back on track. And really, Ricky Thornton was really good too. I mean, people are saying, Ricky Thornton might going to be at a disadvantage going into into that this time, but I don't think so. I mean, he almost won one of the prelims, and he had some trouble in the feature. He thought the car was, I think, losing water or something. So he'll be in there. I think no matter what 4 get in there, those other ones, I think they're all I think they all could be really close together and make it really exciting.
Go ahead, Swab.
Yeah, what are you going to tell my conspiracy theory about Ricky Thornton Jr. that I said before the show?
Sandbagging
that
at
he
the
was
World?
Sandbagging at the World and Dream because people are saying and speculating that he has something with the car. He didn't want to show it too early.
Oh, I like
so
that.
now he's ready for the dirt track. Kovac. That could get
some tinfoil
let's get an
stuff.
article. Let's go. Come on.
Yeah, put on your little tinfoil hat there, I guess, and talk about that. Right?
Final thing, Kevin, before we go Packers Lions talk, I think people are underestimating to me how exciting the dramatics of that last event are going to be, and not just the weekend. The ebbs and flows of the feature, right? Like, oh my God, he's back. He took a tire. He's back up to 10th. This guy, it's going to be a while. I think unless something dramatically bizarre happens, don't you think Lucas does this again next year? Because whether people love it or hate it, the entire world of late model racing and motorsports is going to be tuned into it. I think they do it again next year.
I see the only way they wouldn't would be if there's some 100, I mean, it's like the incredible backlash of Ricky Thornton not winning it. If everybody would just be so angry, which I don't think, and people can't keep up that kind of anger and stuff, I think, if they see a good race. And then, or also if one of the other guys wins it and they're like, oh, well, I mean, they don't have the same excitement of winning the championship as they normally will. You know what I mean? It's just, they kind of feel like they backed into it because they, if they hear people talking about Ricky Thornton, maybe that's another reason why, if you want to see that other guy that just put back into the race, the championship deal, still be thrilled to win it, but not be like, well, we just backed into, if they start talking like that, they didn't deserve it or something.
Raceway 7 on Friday, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania Motor Speedway on Saturday for the Pittsburgher. Watch it all live on Flow this weekend. If you cannot make it to the track, going to be a very, very exciting week.